Hey guys, this is Nick. So for my final project, I focused on intellectual disability. My actual project consisted of a brochure. I kind of made up my brochure as in different sections or segments. On my introduction, I first tried to define what is intellectual disability. I wanted to see exactly what we are dealing with. And I also wanted to, the next section in the brochure is like the causes of intellectual disability. According to some of the researchers, there is not a single factor that we can say this is what causes it, but there are several factors that play in developing the disability. Um, it was interesting to note that there are approximately 9 to 10 million individuals with this disability in the United States. So I wanted to find out like what some of the symptoms are, and as we'll see once we get there, depending on the degree of severity, patients will display different symptoms. Treatment I also included in there. Like I wanted to see what are some of the treatments that are available to the patients. Unfortunately, there is no cure for intellectual disability, but there is good news. If there is like an early intervention provided to the patient, they will have like an opportunity to have a successful life. So therefore, it is necessary for an individual to have intervention at an early age. I also wanted to focus on some of the career paths since we're in college. I wanted to see like who is providing help to the patient. I also wanted to see if occupational therapy, since I'm interested in that field, I wanted to see if occupational therapists provided help and to what degree can we help them. Having a background in exercise science, I think, kind of makes this brochure a little bit different than most brochures because I wanted to see if there are benefits for an individual who is diagnosed with intellectual disability if they develop like an exercise routine or what we call in our field like an exercise prescription. I wanted to see if there are any benefits for like an individual to exercise, and it was exciting to find out that there is. At the back of the brochure, I also put like a little section called "Get Help." In that section, I focused on like where can we go if we know somebody who has intellectual disability and what are some of the help that is available out there. Unfortunately, I couldn't find a lot, but I did find some. So there is help out there. We just need to look for it. What is intellectual disability? Intellectual disability can be defined as a disorder that is marked by intellectual functioning and adaptive behavior that are all below average. As I stated before, there are approximately 9 to 10 million individuals with intellectual disability in the United States. There are different degrees or levels to the disability. So I wanted to focus a little bit more on that in this part of the presentation. There is the mild intellectual disability, and it's like 85% of the intellectual disability fall into this category. Calmer and Calmer, the author of our book, calls this the educatable level because the individual can benefit from schooling and can support themselves as adult. The next section would be the moderate intellectual disability, and that is 10% of intellectual disability patients fall into this category. Usually, patients who get diagnosed with moderate intellectual disability are diagnosed at an early age because they demonstrate a clear deficient in language development and play. Individuals who are in this category usually achieve a second grade level in education. They will usually require a moderate supervision to take care of their personal needs, and they have difficulty in social and relationship situational. The next level that we have is severe intellectual disability. Severe intellectual disability can be defined as a basic motor or communication deficiency during infancy, and it's usually about 3 to 4% of patients who get diagnosed or who are in this category. Usually, patients who do suffer from this would not develop or they develop little communication skills during childhood. In school, they learn elementary skill levels, just like the basic stuff such as care for themselves, and they usually at a delayed level they learn to talk. As an adult, they usually live in group homes or with their families. The next level that we have, or the last level, will be the profound intellectual disability, and that is where 1% to 2% of individuals with intellectual disability are categorized. They generally have a neurological disorder that account for their intellectual disability. They display sensory motor function deficiency in early childhood, and they require a caregiver and constant supervision. Calmer and Calmer, once again, the authors of the book, state that people with profound intellectual disability may learn to improve basic skills such as walking, some talking, and feeding themselves. Like I said at the beginning of the presentation, the exact cause of intellectual disability cannot be attributed to a single factor. We only know, according to a researcher, over 50% of intellectual disabilities have no known etiology. So we don't know exactly how the disability is developed, but we do know some factors that may play into like the development. Some of that would include chromosomal abnormalities, environmental causes such as cultural familial retardation, nutritional such as malnutrition during pregnancy. If the mother is drinking a lot of alcohol, that will play a major impact on the development of the fetus. Or if the mother has a poor diet such as malnutrition, that can also play a major role in developing the disability. Gestational, such as premature birth, infection may also play a role in developing the disorder. Some of the symptoms, like I said, depending on the degree of the severity of the disability, some of the symptoms may include deviation in adaptive behavior, difficulty following directions, inability to understand rules. They may also display like a short-term memory or severe cognitive and motor skills. Ehrman, one of the researchers that I came across, stated the major signs and symptoms are usually related to the delayed development stages in infants and children, such as delayed in sitting up, crawling, or walking. Treatments, like I said at the beginning, there is no cure for intellectual disability. There's no cure for it, but there are different interventions that can be provided by different providers, such as physical therapist, occupational therapist, or speech therapist. And like I said at the beginning, patients who are introduced to these interventions usually have a better chance of a successful life. Some of the providers who treat intellectual disability include pediatricians, speech therapists, psychologists, psychiatrists, and occupational therapists. An integration of all or some of these fields will help the patient in the long run. Therefore, it is necessary for patients to get the treatment or the intervention as soon as they're diagnosed, or as soon as possible, so that way they can live a successful life. Patients who are diagnosed with intellectual disability usually have an increased risk of comorbidities such as obesity and metabolic syndrome, which can affect the patient in the long run. So I wanted to find out if we prescribed like an exercise prescription or a routine to them, if this would help them. It was quite exciting to find out that there are some benefits for the patient to develop like an exercise routine. This can help them with weight loss. It improves their mood, and it gives them self-confidence. And this is what normally what the Acsm would recommend. This is like their prescription. It would be like I included in here the frequency, intensity, time, and type of exercise. And the next slide, you'll see that I included a video of a couple of months ago. I recorded somebody exercising, and this is what their exercise routine would look like. Okay, so that was just a little clip of what we would recommend an intellectual disability patient to do as part of their exercise routine. So this is conclusion. This is my conclusion. As we have defined, intellectual disability is characterized by limitations in intellectually and behaviorally. We talked about some of the signs and symptoms, and we said that symptoms vary depending on the level of the disability. Like we said, treatment for intellectual disability is provided by different healthcare providers. And once again, it cannot be emphasized, earlier intervention is highly recommended since this would give the patient the opportunity to live a successful life. Thank you.